Hello everybody, welcome to another video here on Elevated Prep. I'm Nathan Wheeler. Today is a cool video for me. I really am excited to make this video for you. It is a list of my favorite YouTubers that have influenced me and inspired me and guided me in ways towards my own prepping and my preparation for maybe hopefully one day having a homestead and being prepared for the end of the world and all that kind of jazz. It's cool because I guess you could say I am a bit of a social media person as well. I've never felt like I am, but I have a ministry page called Yeshua Network on Facebook. It has about 2.5 million subscribers. We have thousands of videos, literally like 1,000 plus videos. We also have a YouTube channel for Yeshua Network. That's newer though, so it only has about 4,000 people at the moment. And then I have my original YouTube experience, I guess you could say, which is Truth Me Free, and that has about 65,000, 70,000 subscribers, something like that. So this is my newest YouTube video making content channel. And so I have the experience of kind of what these guys who I'm going to share with you have kind of gone through, and I've watched them grow as they started out from, maybe 100,000 to 10, I mean, early on, maybe 10,000 subscribers, maybe 100 subscribers. And I got to watch them grow to, their channels and so forth. So it's cool for me because I feel like this is a way for me to honor them as well. And hopefully I'll figure out a way to tag them all. This list is quite long. This video might be long, but and I have a lot. And this isn't an exhausted list, which means that there's more people I plan on sharing and highlighting and doing video clips on and things like that. But these are the people that I definitely, if I only make one more video, I at least want to get this video out there. Because if you were to just go to these channels that I'm about to show you, I honestly believe you would learn almost everything you need to know to prep. And so, maybe this is all my channel really needs to do. But I would like to add some commentary and, go through some of their videos with you and explain why I think these people are great, or why that particular video is great, or that particular product is great that they highlight and so forth. So without further ado, let's jump into the list. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit more background about me. This is only the 4th video on the channel ever made, so I thought that might be needed as well, since some people don't know who I am. The first person that is going to be on the list, it is definitely the most, he is the person I watch on YouTube more than anybody else in the whole world. He is my favorite YouTuber, I guess you could say, and I definitely want to start out with him. His name is Joe Robinette. Joe he's not, the reason I want to start with Joe as well is twofold. He is the person I watch the most on YouTube, but he is also the person I think that you should watch if prepping or thoughts about the end of the world, or whatever it is that you're prepping for, preparations that scare you. If you're one of those people who have anxieties about prepping or anxieties about surviving in the wilderness and things like that, let me introduce you to Joe Robinette. He's not a prepper, by the way. I don't think he might be, but his content is not a prepping channel. It's like adventure, camping, wilderness, canoeing, backpacking kind of channel. And the reason why I love Joe is he has, in my opinion, mastered making a YouTube channel where you just really make backpacking and bushcrafting romantic. And the way that Joe talks and the way that he just does things, I mean, the way he'll make feather sticks, or he'll make a campfire, or he'll build his tent. I mean, just the way he does it, and the way he films it and he puts it together, it's like you're a fly on the wall. It's so well produced that you don't feel it's produced. You just feel like you're there with him. I really can't say enough good things about Joe, except that you need to go check out his channel. Go check out Joe Robinette. Tell him that Nathan Wheeler over at Elevated Prep sent you, and that I'm his biggest fan. And I'm going to show you the second most watched content I have ever watched on YouTube as well. This next person is, here's what's cool too. I want to give a little bit of backstory. This next one I'm about to show you, Joe has 1.5 million subscribers. And I remember when Joe had less than 100,000. I remember he was doing his content in like his backyard in the suburbs. And I just liked him even then. And his stuff was raw. Like his video quality wasn't great, but I just liked the way he talked and explained things and his interest in bushcraft. And I felt like I was him. And then he took it to a whole nother level and he actually started going out into the wilderness. And dude, he ended up becoming like an absolute pro, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, so he's great. Then there was another guy like him, but he's this guy from England. And his name is TA Outdoors. I'm going to switch to him in 1 second. But Joe mentioned him. And Joe mentioned, he's like, hey, you guys should go check him out. And I remember the first video where Joe mentioned TA Outdoors. I went over there, and I think at the time he only had like 10,000 subscribers, maybe 20, 30,000 subscribers. And let me show you what's happened since. He now has 2.49 million subscribers. This guy has really turned it into like a I don't want to say like a business in a bad way, but Mike is the guy. It's called TA Outdoors, but the gentleman's name is Mike. And I have watched him grow, and he is right there for me. I've maybe watched just a few more 100 hours of Joe, but Mike is definitely catching up in my viewership. He makes amazing content, and I feel like him and Joe are kindred spirits. Again, they just allow it to be very romantic. It's not scary for them. It's an adventure. They go out on the weekends or week trips. They do show you all the skills you would need, or a lot of the skills that you would need to survive in the wilderness. But it's very much a bushcraft, camping, adventure, something you do on the weekends. And I think this is the content to start with for people, because I think a lot of people, I'm going to show you some other people in this list that they kind of make like, the bushcraft and the outdoors a little bit more intense. They're a little bit more raw. The other thing is these guys have amazing forests that they go into. Joe has the Canadian outback, if you will, the Canadian forest. And then TA Outdoors, Mike, he has this, England, like camping wood place. And it's just picturesque. It's just so beautiful. And so they do such a good job of romanticizing and I don't know the words, but like beautifying, I don't know, but they just do such a good job that like if you feel like you're overwhelmed by bushcraft or you're overwhelmed by survival in the wilderness, like that part of survival, watch these guys first. They will diffuse those scaries from you, if you will. They're just great. And I mean, honestly, I love these guys to death. They are my two most favorite YouTube channels. If you ever wonder what I watch, these are the guys I watch. The third guy I watch, he is a close third to these two gentlemen. He's a different spectrum. And I think they talk about each other from time to time. This gentleman may have done videos with Joe before. Canoeing. I'm pretty sure they have, actually. I don't know why I'm blanking right now, but I feel they have. But because my brain is so full of all their videos, I might just be mixing them in my head. He's also a Canadian, and he's different because he does more of a woodsman cabin. He's built his cabin from scratch twice, and I'm sure you've seen his videos. Like I'm convinced probably you've come across his videos because some of them have just millions of views, and they're kind of like a one video clip of him going from like scratch in the wilderness to building this beautiful little cabin, wood cabin. And he's really interesting to watch. Again, just makes it very romantic. Like if you think to yourself, I got to go out to the woods, I got to build a cabin, yes, he did it with, he's done it with primitive tools as much as he could. But he doesn't bring out like a generator. He's not using a chainsaw. And he shows all this, and he does a great job. He does use like some modern equipment and tools, but like not electrified. It's pretty amazing. And so without further ado, let me introduce you to the third one, my self-reliance. This gentleman has gone through the same kind of journey. He has 2.2 million subscribers. I've watched him go from I think I got involved with him when he had maybe 100,000. And so over the years, Sean, he's just made this great channel and just wonderful videos. So again, too, if you think to yourself, well, I got to live out in a cabin in the woods, this just doesn't seem pleasant to me, watch Sean, my self-reliance. This guy, they present it like it's a dream come true. It's like heaven on earth. These three gentlemen do such a great job. Now, I've already got through three gentlemen. I could go on and on. I'm going to try to make the list shorter, but so I won't talk so much about each one. But he's great. He builds it. He shows it to you. He cleans. He's got a great dog who is always around, golden retriever. It's just, I just can't plug him enough. So if you've ever thought to yourself, what would it actually be like living out in the woods in a wooden cabin? Like, I think he's very a modern guy. He used to live in the city. He used to work in the city. He saved up his money so he could buy land so that he could do this, right? So most of us, most people, I think, watching my content here at Elevated Prep can probably relate to Sean the most. If you're thinking about maybe one day you'll have to live off grid or live in a cabin, or you'll have to run out into the woods to run away from society, and you'll have to figure out how to build a cabin. He's a great guy to watch. And again, just a romantic situation. It's pretty awesome. Now, since I've only mentioned three guys, and most of this list is going to be gentlemen, let me show you to the first female I watched that I just thought did such a great job. And I do want to make a joke a little bit here. You know, there's these other female survivalists or bushcrafters, specifically this next one. She's a bushcrafter for sure. She's kind of like Joe's more fishing and canoeing now. But Lily is the next one. Survival Lily is the next one. And she's like my favorite bushcraft survivalist gal who goes out. She's European. I can't remember exactly where she's from. I feel like she's Scandinavian of some sort. And she goes out and she does the whole gamut. Like, she's a dude. She is a dude out there doing this. And I like her because she's not one of the bushcraft girls that are out there right now that basically like wear a thong and like a see-through top and then they're doing bushcraft. It's like, well, do you want people to watch you for that? Like, it's like a, sexual kind of thing, or do you want to watch it for the bushcraft you're doing? And Lily is about the bushcraft, so she's just really great. So here she is, Survival Lily. Again, 1.17 million. I remember when she first started out. I remember her first videos, and I just really, again, I thought she was doing a great job of her content production and how she presented it. And again, like, she just seemed like she was in her element. It didn't seem like she was trying to be a YouTuber. It seemed like she was just like, this is my life, come join me. And I just really appreciated that about her. She's got great stuff. If you like Joe and you like TA Outdoors and Sean, you'll like Lily. I kind of feel like I almost feel like the four of these people are like friends. I know that Mike and Joe have talked, and I know Sean and Joe definitely have met up, but I feel like she would be a great fit for them. This gentleman is where we start to get into like this guy makes me feel like I shouldn't even try. So if you watch some of these people who do this living out on, in the woods type of thing, and you see how good they are at it, how skillful they are at it, and you see how many skills they do have, you can get to the point where you think to yourself, like, I'm just going to die when I get out there. I'm not going to make it. This isn't going to go well for me. I am nowhere close to these people. I feel like Joe and Joe makes you feel like you could do it. TA Outdoors, he teaches you so well, and he goes through so many things and so many eras and so many different styles of shelter building. He brings on guests. His dad comes out, and his dad and him are hilarious. His dad is hilarious. A great fisherman as well, so if you want to learn about fishing and things like that, very good to watch TA, and TA Fishing, I think is called as well. That's his other channel with his dad. And then Sean, Sean really is this log cabin builder, and I feel like he's just a very modern man. But this guy right here, Adovko, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, you got to watch this guy's videos. He is amazing. He, again, goes out with like primitive tools. He builds this water mill that spins in this like fountain, and he creates tools. He literally designs and creates tools. I feel like he's some kind of supercomputer genius or engineer or something, like his day job or where he lives in the city. He's like a legitimate super genius. And then he goes out into the woods and he just kind of plays like he's this like guy just enjoying the woods, but he just operates on such a crazy level. And the stuff he does is so amazing and beautiful. He's like he's like turned surviving in a cabin in the woods of, I think it's like the Scandinavian, maybe Russian Russia or something like that. But he like turns it into like an art, like it's visual art. It's amazing. Like you can see he's literally making a canoe with saran wrap in the video and twigs, like unbelievable stuff. But so when I watch this guy, I just think to myself sometimes jokingly way like I shouldn't even try. I just go out to the woods and just die because this guy is on such another level. Don't do that to yourself. If you have those thoughts, you know, hopefully these people inspire you, they encourage you, and they teach you. I mean, that's really what I think all these people are trying to do is inspire and teach, which is hopefully what I'm doing as well by highlighting them and highlighting some of these topics and things I go over. The next guy I'm pretty sure you've all seen. He is, in my opinion, one of the best survivalists on the planet for YouTube, like video content manufacturing. Like this guy, I genuinely believe could survive on his own with nothing but the shorts he wears in these videos. He is very famous. His videos gets like tens of millions of views. It's unbelievable, and they get him within like the first week he posts. Without further ado, the other person who I've watched every one of his videos many times because they're just amazing, and I think this is information that you should actually know. I think everybody should study his stuff. Primitive Technology. I'm sure you've seen him. He's the guy that goes around in his shorts. He's got, and I think it's the Australian outback, or maybe he's in New Zealand, and he builds these like clay. See, there he is right there. I'm sure you've seen this. He's one of the most viewed YouTube channels. So, and he teaches you how to make like clay and pottery, and all he has is like a stick, exactly like this. See, he takes a rock and he goes out with the rock and he cuts down a tree with a rock, and then he just builds everything from nothing, and he's always just wearing his shorts. So to show you that like this is how like basically the primitive days did it, and he shows you all the techniques and all the things that you can do to, you know, rebuild if you literally get stuck with nothing. Like you have nothing but the clothes on your body. He goes through it and he can show you how to build an axe, how to build a knife, from rocks, from clay, and then like you build these buildings. Like he builds all this stuff with nothing. He starts with nothing more than a rock and some sticks. It's unbelievable. Really love his stuff, and definitely probably the fifth most watched content. After it would be Joe, TA, Sean. Trying to think who the other, maybe he's the fourth, but he might be the fifth. I think there's somebody else I watch more than him. But let's get going to the next person. So he's great. Again, these videos that I've mentioned so far, or these channels I've mentioned so far, these are channels that you could just watch and purely just enjoy them. Like they're just enjoyable. And you're learning something in the process. So this is the reason I started with these. And the next guy, he really gets to more like he's somebody who's really educating. Like he's there to educate you. He covers a lot of ground. He's a Christian, so he has that kind of message in his work, and he really seems to have that like kind of Christian heart. Wrangle Star. He's an ex-firefighter, or he is a firefighter still, maybe. I think he's an ex-firefighter. I think he's retired. And he goes and he does, again, the camping, the wilderness. He's got all sorts of content. Let me see if I can find. He used to start off with doing like a lot of axe videos. How he did like a lot of like, okay, this is the best chainsaw. Like here he's doing motor oil. He's got bug out bags. He covers tools, emergency toolkit, and he's a firefighter. So he comes with that kind of that experience of like survival, or, you know, be prepared, or safety. He covers a lot of safety when using axes and chainsaws, how to cut down a tree properly, how to chop wood properly. There's so much stuff he covers now that he's ventured away from just his basically being a fireman who goes out to the forest and fights forest fires, I believe is what he did. And but he covers so much stuff, and he has a workshop, and he goes over tools and axes and how to sharpen them the proper way, how to maintain them, how to care for your chainsaws and things like that. And he has just good messages. Again, 2.5 million subscribers. I remember when he had like 100,000. He's such a great, he does such a great job, and he's gone through a journey. I mean, the other thing that's interesting about watching these guys is they've gone through their journeys. I feel like TA Outdoors has had the smoothest journey for his YouTube channel. He just has really built. He kind of started on the right foot and he just stayed the course, and his channel has stayed that way. Joe's content has changed over a while. He really found out what he enjoys, what he likes, and what he wants his content to be. It kind of doesn't really matter if that's what you want, and that's what I love about Joe. Is, again, it's like Lily. They just do what they do. And I feel like Ringo Starr, he was a guy who we actually got to go along the journey of him. He struggled with his channel a little bit. Things got controversial with his channel, ran into some issues. He had to change kind of what stuff he was covering and things like that, because I think because of his retirement. And I think that that's important to watch, because our lives change and our situation is definitely going to change if we're real preppers. And if what we think is coming is going to come, you know, we're going to experience a dramatic life change. And so I enjoy the fact that their videos have allowed us to go through their journey and watch their life change. And on my ministry page, Yeshua Network, I've demonstrated and I've basically captured my life changing in the ups and downs as well. And these guys have made me feel good about that. They made me feel like, since I enjoy watching their ups and downs, I've really hoped that there are people who it's not always fun to watch the down parts. Joe had a really bad motorcycle accident, and it really messed him up bad. And so to watch Joe starting to get back on his feet now and recover from that motorcycle accident has also been really encouraging. But I'm really grateful that Joe didn't just turn off the channel and disappear on us. I'm really grateful that he stayed around and we got to kind of watch him go through his healing process, which was hard to watch because you love the guy and you care for him, right? And I imagine people with me, with my hard times, and, you know, they probably hurt to watch me, but they cared for me, and hopefully me sticking in there blessed them as well. So again, Ringo Starr has a great journey that you can also witness. On the opposite side of that, you have this guy. It was between him and Joe when I very, very first started, like, spending most of my time watching, you know, these YouTube videos on survival out in the wilderness and stuff. I guess he does make a video. This one says it's a year ago he made a video, but his original stuff, he kind of tapered off. He doesn't make videos too much anymore. Like it says, a year ago was his last video, I think. But man, is he hilarious. He's got to be one of the most entertaining and nerdiest cool guys. I feel like he is like the ladies' heartthrob, and he's such a nerd. He is so knowledgeable when it comes to, like, you know, all the things you can eat, the mushrooms and all the plant types. Like, if you want to learn about plant types and things you can eat and mushroom types and, like, you know, what they do and how you use them, he's the coolest, nerdiest walking encyclopedia of this type of content that I think you could possibly find. He's hilarious. I can't remember like one moment to highlight, but he has moments where I'm actually like laughing out loud. It's pretty awesome to watch him. So Alfie Aesthetics, check him out. Man, I really wish, I don't know what he would do. I mean, I feel like he's covered everything, but, you know, I wish his content had just kept going. This gentleman is the godfather. He's the godfather of our living day for bushcraft. His name is David Cattenberry. And he is a guy, he was on, I think it was Discovery Channel or something like that, where he had his own channel with another guy, and they would go out, and he teaches a school. He has his own school called, what is it called? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Pathfinder. There it is. I don't know if you guys can see us. Pathfinder. His Pathfinder school. And he has Pathfinder products. And I will say, Dave's products are really good products. If you get a Pathfinder product, if you buy it from YouTube, you buy it from his website, you're getting good bushcraft, good survival products. It was kind of interesting because when YouTube first started off, David Cattenberry being like he was already kind of like a guy who was known. He had written books. He was on a TV show. So when Joe only had like 10,000 subscribers and TA Outdoors wasn't even started yet, David Cattenberry was like the guy who was already kind of well known, and his channel was the first big one with like over 100,000, 200,000 subscribers. Now he has about 906,000. And I noticed that like he kind of got a little bitter there, and I'm not saying anything bad about the guy. He is a guy you should definitely watch. You should definitely learn from him. You should definitely go to one of his classes, one of his schools, and do one of his weekend trips and learn from him. He's top notch, a real deal survivalist, a real deal go out into the woods and he could survive kind of guy. He can literally do everything, like, and his knowledge is authentic. Like, he knows, he's done it. It's experience. It's not like he studied it right before he made his video and then went on and made a video of it. And I feel like there's some guys out there who do that, but they do a great job. So, hey, they're still great. But I feel like David has done it, and it's his life, and it's been his career. So, you know, if you're going to learn from somebody, he's a great guy to really learn bushcraft from, like, for the full-fledged bushcraft. TA Outdoors is another one, but again, he romanticizes it a bit, and it's more of like a come to the wilderness with me. Whereas David is a teacher. He is like a professor of bushcraft, and probably, in all honesty, the best one. And he has been one of the biggest influences in my life for just even knowing what bushcraft is and learning about it. And you just can't. I don't know what to say about him because I feel like his reputation is already known, but you may not know of him. And so you should definitely go check him out. And if you find anything that he makes or he goes over, he explains it in his videos. This is why we designed it this way. This is the application and the use of it. This is the product that we support. We may not have made it, but we support it. Go check it out. You know, he doesn't give the vibe. I mean, he's a salesman. He's constantly selling you stuff, but he's not doing it in a way where it's like he's trying to get rich off of it or it's just a marketing thing. Like, he knows that you need equipment to survive in the wilderness. He knows you need the best equipment to survive. And so when he makes a product or he talks about a product or highlights a product, he's telling you because he believes that you need it. Like, he believes that this is going to be a good thing that you will need. And here's what his Amazon channel looks like, which is, we are going to be building this as well. All these guys have this, you know, pretty much. They all have these kind of channels where they highlight the equipment that they use or that they approve of. I'm making one of these right now. I'm waiting for Amazon's approval. And so there's going to be things that I'm going to say, hey, for prepping, this is good. If you're just going out for bushcraft on the weekends or camping, that's one thing. I'm going to try to highlight stuff that's more actual survival, into the world type of stuff. The next guy is probably Earthwise one of my biggest heroes. I've talked about him before on my other channel. His name is Joel Salatin. If you haven't heard of Joel Salatin, he is the Michael Jordan of farming in today's world. He has done an amazing job of basically going back to the world before there were tractors, before there was industrial corruption and, you know, genetically modified seeds, and how did farms used to thrive, what was the systems they use. And he is just the best. He is a good person. He does good things. He was offered the role of being like the health or like agricultural, you know, head of the United States by Donald Trump, and he turned it down. I think he turned it down because he knew he had a commitment to his work here at Farm Like a Lunatic, as they call him, the lunatic farmer. I think he turned it down because he knew that he had to continue doing his work. I mean, that's this guy. It says he has 141,000 subscribers, which just seems silly to me. He's one of the most influential farmers ever. He is just amazing, and he does a great job teaching, and he's so humble. He does classes. You can go to his farm, and they have like a whole like tour kind of sit-in program where you watch him do the thing. You can participate, you can get involved. I really look forward to the day where I can do it. I really look forward to the day that I can meet him. His daughter supposedly lives not too far from where I used to live here in Tennessee, and I know some of her friends, and they practice and do the style of farming that he does, and I've seen it in real life, and it's amazing, and it really works, and it's something you should look into. If you're going to have a homestead, if you're going to be farming, you should for sure learn about Joel Salatin and all the things he teaches. I cannot push anybody to Joe Salatin enough. In my opinion, he will be vital because Joe is a guy who Joel is the kind of guy who, like, when I talked in one of my other videos, when the grocery stores close, when the Tractor Supply closes and you can't go get the vitamins and the nutrients and the things that you need, or the meds that you need, to help your animals out, what are you going to do? What are you going to grow? How do you know what to do? How do you know what's right? How do you know what's the inexpensive way to accomplish the expensive, type of farming? This is the guy. Okay, go check him out. Truly, I can't plug him enough. Now, what does that look like for your life? Let me just say something too about, let me go back real quick. When you look at Joel and you see his life, he's like a farmer. Like, he's like an old school, he wears the overalls. He's like a farmer. Like, he grew up in it kind of thing, right? Like, you feel like he grew up on a farm with hay coming out of his mouth, like, and he's just stayed there, right? This guy is like his protege, Justin Rhodes. Justin bought a homestead. I think it's 11 acres or something like that. And Justin is phenomenal at being a hybrid of the Joel Salatin to the modern family man who lives in suburbia, who goes and buys a plot of land and then starts homesteading based upon what he's learning. And he has kids. And let me highlight Justin here. Justin has a beautiful farm. He does a beautiful job. But the thing that I am just in awe of with Justin is the way he does it and leads his family. His kids, as you can see in the clip playing maybe right now, you can see they're a bit older. And Justin travels all over. I mean, he's famous. He has 1.1 million. He has more views than Joe Salatin, right? But he learns from Joe Salatin, right? But a lot of people learn from Justin because he does a little bit more of the modern, what is it really like to homestead, and have like a home and a job and things like that. So his kids were amazing to watch grow up on film on YouTube. He made it so fun. They were so excited to do the chores and works. Maybe not always, but he did such a great job. And his son is amazing. Like, has always wanted to jump in and help him out and be basically Dad 2.0. I mean, if you really want to like see if it's possible, see how it's done and see if you can make homesteading something that the kids want to do, watch watch Justin Rhodes. Just watch his channel also, because all the stuff that him and his wife make and do and build and grow, they just do it in a way where it feels very real. It's not always rosy, but they don't do any complaining. It's not like they never like kind of get upset with anything. And even when hard times come, see that smile he has? I feel like he's got that perpetual smile on 24/7. I feel like this guy is just a walking ray of sunshine, and I'm sure we all have our bad days, but he just does such a great job in his videos of just really encouraging and kind of making it not overwhelming, to live the life of a 10-acre, 5-acre homestead, and doing the right techniques. This next guy is on another level. He's like a European version. So a lot of the people I've shown now, you got the Canadians we've shown, and we've got the Americans we've shown, and some of the Scandinavian folks. This gentleman here, he's like, I don't know how to describe him. He is like, he's taken what Joel does and he's pushing it to the limits. And he's regenerative agriculture. His name is Richard Perkins, as you can see here. Definitely check out his channel. His homestead is one of the most beautiful homesteads I've ever. He keeps it immaculate. He built like a yurt, which is like a permanent canvas tent teepee type thing, and his family lived in that, while they built their house on this property, and then he built his house and they kept the yurt for like other things, so it's still there. He does such a great job. He's very mellow in nature. He's very chill. He's very just kind of matter of fact, nonchalant. He's like, yeah, you just do this and that, and then you're gonna hear this, you're gonna hear that, but the truth is this. He does such a great job of also explaining how to make money, how to turn the square footage, how to keep the effort and the workload down. I'm not doing a good job talking about Richard because I feel like I might just be repeating Joe Salatin. And you're like, but you said Joe Salatin is like the Michael Jordan. He is, because like he kind of relaunched all that knowledge. But Richard Perkins is kind of like he kind of, again, he takes what Joel does and he turns it into art. I can't explain it any other way, but if you just watch his channel, it's just an art form, and it's scientific and it's data driven, and he keeps great records, and he shows you, you know, the beautiful part of it, literally the physically beautiful part of his perfectly rowed, you know, a homestead and operation, and then also the dirty parts, you know, like he just shows it all. And the kids again are running around, and the wife is there carrying for the kids while he's working, and he just shows it all, and it's so real, but it's also so inspiring, and he is so knowledgeable, and he just cuts away a lot of the myths and the rumor mill, and like he just tells you this is what works, let me show you. So I recommend, if you want to learn how to homestead, if you want to learn like how to grow things, specifically grow things, or I would say if you want to have, you know, chickens and pigs and goats and sheep and things like that, check out Joel for sure. If you want to grow a garden that's just immaculate and as little work as possible, check out Richard Perkins. So that hopefully is the distinction that will help you. This next gentleman, Stefano, he's kind of a hybrid of Joel and Richard here, but he's more of just your everyday dude. He's not as polished. He's not as like he doesn't give that kind of idea that he's on a pedestal like Joel and Perkins are, but he's great because he's, again, like an everyday guy. He highlights the permaculture, the farming, the homesteading, and he does a lot of interviews. He goes to people's farms and locations, and he shows you what they did. He talks to them and interviews them. And I feel like he just does a great job giving you value of like what's the reality, what's the different styles of gardening and growing. So it's not like, you know, Perkins is more of that European style farm. Joel is more of that American style farm. And Stefano kind of covers farms from all over the world and all different places. So he might even more highlight like South America style farming and growing and things like that. But he covers a lot of things. So he's great because he does really wonderful interviews and going out and talking to people. So I really like him because you can kind of learn more about other people too through him. And then you have Stony Ridge Farm. This is your modern, straight up, the guy you go and have a beer with, you know, homesteader. Like, he's the guy who did pretty well in life, enough for him to get a good homestead. I don't know how many acres he has, but it's substantial enough. And, you know, he does it all. He's got the chickens, he's got the cows. I think he's got maybe some pigs, maybe some goats. I don't know, but mainly he's a chicken and the cows. And you can watch his whole journey from when he buys the homestead and he builds it and he mows it and he puts up the fences and he gets the cows and he deals with them and he gets the tractor and he deals. You see the gravel behind him. Oh, you probably can't see the gravel behind him. You can see the video where he lays down those rocks and he deals with that and he builds this. Like, you can see all this stuff. Really, really great content. I mean, I feel like most of us, if we were to do the modern homestead, like if you have some money and you have the ability to have some tractors and a side by side, and you know, most people I feel can relate to this gentleman if that's going to be like your homestead that you're going to be doing, right? You're using modern technology, you're doing you know, you're going to the store, you're going to the tractor supply shop and you're picking up things. This is going to be the guy that I feel just gives a very real experience of that. And, you know, it's not romanticized, you know, but he definitely makes you feel like it's possible, and he's enjoyable to watch. His dialogue, his content, it's just the way he presents himself is just really enjoyable, and makes it feel like it's possible. So go check him out as well if you actually are somebody who's looking to build like a homestead, but you want some modern farming practices. Let's call it that. Great one. Goldshaw Farm. I love this guy. He is up there with one of the guys I probably watch the most, with the TA and the Joe Robinette guys. The reason I love him is he just doesn't seem like he's somebody who would end up doing the homestead thing. Like, you know, I love his content though. And he definitely shows the dirty and the ugly and the unpleasant part, but he doesn't complain. He just sits there and he goes through it and he's like, this sucks, but let me show you what I'm doing about it. And he says, this is how much I make selling eggs. This is how much I make, selling chickens. These are my dogs. He's got great dogs. And he's got ducks. And he just seems like the kind of guy that like you want as a neighbor. That's how I'll describe him. But his content is just real. It's just you can just watch it easily. It's not hard content to watch. He covers the reality of it. He gives really good insight. He shares tricks and tools and ideas and how he does it and why. He's not trying to like keep any secrets or keep any kind of trade, secrets from anybody. And he talks about how hard it really is and what the life is really like. And he travels too. He goes and he visits people and he sells trees and saplings and things like that as well, some plants as well. And he talks about his business and how much he makes off of each. And I just recommend you go and you check out his stuff. And I feel like once you get to know him and once you see his content too, like if you wanted chickens, he'd probably be a good guy to buy chickens off of. If you wanted eggs, he'd probably be a good guy to get eggs off of. I just trust the guy, Really good content maker. And he has lots of videos. He's up to almost 1 million subscribers as well. I remember again when he had less than 100,000. Just it's cool to watch his journey, and I think you can even see him move into his place and start it as well. So you can kind of see the journey begin for him and what it was like and the struggles he went through, and building things and how frustrated he got. It's just great content. I feel like I'm having a hard time telling you why to watch him, although I've said a lot of words, but he's different than anybody else on the list I've mentioned so far. And he's kind of like the underdog, but he's doing it. I feel like he's a guy you could watch and be like, if he's doing it, I'm doing it. And that's no insult to him. He just gives off that energy that like, listen, I didn't come into this being born with the expertise and I'm not some master at this. I'm going to learn as I go. And then he does very well. I mean, he struggles, but he does very well and he succeeds. And I think that that's a really important story too for people who are prepping, because once again, you can get so overwhelmed by the knowledge and the experience that other people have, and you can go, man, I'm nowhere close. So when you watch guys who I've mentioned kind of start their journeys and going through it, which is why I feel blessed that I started watching them when YouTube first got started and watched many of these people come in through their journey, is because I got to see that I remember the days when they started off and they were rough and they didn't know what they were doing. So again, just a great content maker. These folks are just starting off their homestead. Sin City, they moved from Las Vegas to Tennessee, as the sign shows. And I love them because they are the most real people I've ever seen on this type of content. They do complain and they keep their chin up, but they're just like, this sucks. We just got ripped off. We just made another stupid mistake. And I feel like they are the majority of people who are going to try to be homesteading. Like they are the reality of homesteading for most people. They're in over their head most of the time. They're making stupid mistakes because they just don't know better. And I'm not making fun of them when I say that. This is what they show, which is why I love them. They're new. They only have 13,000 subscribers. By far the smallest channel I'm highlighting today, but I want to highlight them because I feel like there's somebody that most people are going to be able to relate to. You're going to be able to feel like that's where I am, or okay, so I'm watching their mistakes. I'm going to learn how not to do that. His wife is European or from some other country, maybe like, I don't know where she's from actually, but she has a great thick accent. And she seems like she was very much a city slicker and lived in the city ways. And now, he's taking her out to the wilderness and you see her adjust and things like that, and you could totally see her, fine dining and getting her nails and hair done on a weekly basis kind of thing. And then here she is out on a homestead, making it happen. And so again, if you're one of those people too, you're just like, I don't know, dirt under my nails just sounds like hell to me. I think you might be able to relate to her. And so it's just a great channel. They're doing a great job. And I just love the rawness. It's not filtered. It's not filtered, and I don't think they curse or anything, but I just mean they show they show the mistakes they make, and they show the wear and the tear, and they just go through it all, and I just love it. I think it's so important. Again, I'm sharing these channels with you because they've either inspired me, or I hope that they will inspire you. And you know, they are homesteaders, so they're preparing. No till. This guy is another one of those experts like Perkins, but he's a bit different. He's more about kind of, I don't know how to describe him, but he gives you some really good techniques on no-till growing. And no-till is basically you don't dig up the earth. And there's a big reason for that. There's a big argument for it, in that when you break the soil, you're breaking the communication of the plants and the nutrients and the microbiology. And that may not make sense, but just real quick, I'm going to try to explain this because I do think it's really important. Most people don't realize that under the soil are like these highways of minerals and nutrients through microbugs. And they travel through, usually they travel through like fungus, like underground mushrooms, but they're like micro in size. And what will happen is the micro fungus will be like a spider web, and it will splinter out. And as it travels through the soil, nutrients and it's hard. It's just going to be hard to believe for some people, but trees and plants talk to other trees and plants through these channels of fungus. And when a tree or a plant needs something and another plant has an abundance of it, it will send the nutrient or the minerals or whatever to the other plant through these canals or these channels of fungus. Absolutely brilliant. How you could not believe in a God, I have no idea. But no-till goes over that science, and it goes over the science of how to make your soil healthy quickly, especially if it's been broken and ruined and overtilled, overworked. So I would highly recommend you check out this guy. He does a great job of showing you, literally just showing you how to do everything. He might go into explaining what I just did, but better, obviously. And he shows you the results, what worked, what didn't work. He'll even do like experiments where he'll say, I'm going to do it this way on this row, this way on that row, this way on this row. And then he'll cut to the, you know, the next part of the clip of the video will be a year later. And then he'll show you what the results were. So, you know, you're not just taking it for some type of book page level, you know, word at it. You're actually watching somebody do it and apply it and see what the results are. If you factor him, Perkins, and Joe Salatin, you take these three guys together, you will, in my opinion, you'll be going through a school of becoming a master gardener farmer, like master level. So check out these channels for sure, and check out his stuff. And it's less work. No-till is less work, and it doesn't break the soil. So that's what it means. You're not scraping through with a big tractor. You're not pulling through and breaking all those communication lines with the plants and the microbiology. All right, moving in towards more of the bushcraft level. A lot of these are going to be bushcraft. Stay with me till the end of this, though. I'm taking you through a journey of different types, and this is not, again, an exhaustive list. It means there's a lot more people I can cover, but these are people I definitely want you to at least hear from me as a start off point. These are my initial favorites that I would recommend to you. Donnie Dust Paleo Track. So this guy is kind of like a grade up from Primitive, the gentleman who's in his shorts and he builds like mud huts with nothing but a rock and some sticks. This guy is like the next level up. He actually builds bows. He builds some tools. He makes skins and furs and things like that. And he shows you how to make like arrowheads and knife blades from obsidian and things like this, right? And weapons and all that stuff. But it's all like stuff you can make out in the wilderness. He teaches you how to do all that. So if you were to come into a situation where you can't take your gear with you, and you need to start off like the primitive guy in his shorts, and you got a rock and some mud and some sticks. But eventually, as you want to advance and give yourself more opportunity to be more efficient and have tools that work for you better, this would be the next phase you want to go to after that. So you should definitely learn how to do this stuff. Also, if your bow breaks, if your saw breaks, if your axe breaks, what are you going to do? This is the type of content you want to watch to learn how to do that. Nagualero. I think this guy knows Don Miguel Ruiz. Nagual is a special type of word if anybody knows my Truth Me Free series. He doesn't show his face, but again, he romanticizes being out in the woods. He might show his face in some of the other videos, but in most of his content that he's making today, he kind of he's finding like his niche where he just kind of shows you him camping. Again, I think it's important to not be scared of camping, to not be scared of going out into the wilderness and surviving off the land. It is a very wonderful experience if you've ever been camping. If you can kind of really just relax with it and allow yourself to be in the presence of the nature and not be overwhelmed by it, I think a channel like his is great to watch to just kind of encourage and inspire. Ovens, Rocks, Mountain, Bushcraft. This gentleman is, yeah, he's kind of like the guy you imagine who lives up in the woods in the mountains. He's surviving for real, for real. He's a bit eccentric. He's got a style to him. I won't talk bad about him at all. Very knowledgeable again. He's kind of like he reminds me a bit of, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Hold on. He reminds me of David Cattenberry. There you go. He reminds me of David Cattenberry, but a guy who's living out in the woods. He reminds me of if David was actually out living out in the woods. But he's not so much about. It's hard to. David is like a teacher, like I said. This guy's not. He teaches you, but he kind of just shows you what he's doing. He shows you why he's doing it, and he just does it. So very good guy to watch, again, because the reality of you living out in the woods will probably look a lot like this guy, especially if you are building shelters and things like that. And so just another great guy to watch, get a different perspective. And, you know, a lot of these folks that I'm showing you, they might show similar content, but it's the variant that you might find one that speaks more to you or is more in your geography, wherever you live or what your situation would look like. Then you can watch these folks who match you, and then you can realize, okay, these are the people I need to watch. I see what they're doing. I see what tools they're using, what plants they're using, what, you know, whatnot. So that applies more to me because I live in a similar area or around similar people and so forth. Outdoor Boys. These guys are amazing. As you can see, they have 20 million subscribers. This gentleman, this gingery dude right here, is amazing as well. He just seems like the kind of guy that you wouldn't imagine out there surviving. I don't know. I see him more like sitting behind a desk or, you know, doing some computer work or something like that. Like he just gives you that vibe. But then he goes out into the wilderness and he's just a master of knowing what to do. But again, he shows you when he struggles. He shows you like when he's in trouble. He shows you like, yeah, this didn't work out so well. But most of the stuff he does work out well because he's so good. I have my ringer on. So I would definitely check them out. They have so much content, and they are so, I mean, they're definitely I would say they're the most popular outdoors content on the internet. It's more like you're going to learn a lot from them, and they're going to cover so much, but it is more like a channel that's there to be a channel. I can't that's not a bad thing, by the way, either. But he's very knowledgeable, and he uses all sorts of different techniques and styles, from winter camping to summer camping to going, you know, to all different type of places. He just does it really all. He's on a whole other level, this guy. He really is. He's on a whole other level. You just got to check him out. I feel like this guy doesn't probably need much introduction. You probably heard of him, but go check out his content. You'll enjoy it, and you'll learn a lot. Okay, this gentleman, he's a bit of a mix between, Joe Robinette and TA Outdoors. He does a lot of the same stuff that they do, but he just does it a bit different. He approaches it a little bit more with like, I feel like it's a little bit more of an American twist of TA Outdoors, a little bit more gear, a little bit more modern stuff, but it's just different. It's just a different approach. And I think that the difference is good because once again, you might find which one you relate to more. But a very good channel as well. Again, a mix between Joe and TA Outdoors. So if you like those guys, the first two I mentioned on this list, you'll probably like this guy as well. He's another gentleman very much like that, but he's a little bit more survivally. He actually gets more into like surviving. Clay Hayes, he helps you with how to use a compass and how to dry meat and things like that. He really covers things that you'll really want to know. He does go over gear, but not heavily. He's not like a gearhead. See, he does do reviews of gear and he tells you why he likes what he likes, which I appreciate. Do you see this right here? He shows you how to make a fishing rod with just sticks and stuff. I mean, really good content. I started watching him because of the smoking. He does really good smoke videos, but that's just why that was the videos that caught my attention about him a long time ago. Again, he's got 3.5 million, so he's got more views than even TA Outdoors. And I don't know, maybe he's just found his niche. I'm not really sure how I mean, I don't know why somebody has more views than others. Maybe that's because TA Outdoors is in England. I have no idea. But Clay is really good. He might be famous too. Let me see if he might be somebody from like the TV show Alone. There's a couple people on here from the TV show Alone. So that also would help. But he's really good on actually surviving. Like what the reality of it is. So check him out as well. Survival Dispatch. First one where it's in the name. So this is kind of like a way of what Elevated Prep is. But they're doing like an in-house sharing. So they highlight each other's work. This gentleman is the guy, I guess, who started it. The person who I watch the most is this guy, JJ Morris. I watch most of his content on here. Let me see if I can find a video. Here he is. You probably won't be able to hear us. Oh, you can hear him. So I like his content. I feel like he's again a guy you'd go have a beer with. He's not. There's like really no production with him particularly, and so I really watch this channel for him. But the other guys are very good, very knowledgeable. A lot of stuff you can learn from them on all different topics. So definitely check out the page. He looks like he's been the only active member for the last little while. He covers a lot of stuff. They do interviews, talks on things, what's what. Definitely check them out. The only thing that I would say about this is, they've done a great job in that they have a group of guys who they have together and then they pool their content. Elevated Prep, I want to highlight anybody. It's not necessarily like I have my own little group. I want to just expose you to anybody and everybody who I think can bless you and help you in your journey. The Gray Bearded Green Beret. Obviously military. So this next little batch of folks, they're going to be more military minded. They're going to be ex-military folks. Real like survival again from a military mindset perspective. How to hide in the woods, how to be seen, how to be found, how to get saved. Bug out bags, a lot of bug out bags, a lot of camping bags, gear, and they highlight why the gear is useful for survival, why you're going to need it, how many days is this supposed to help you, how many weeks. A lot of his stuff isn't necessarily the long term. It's really about getting out into the wilderness, surviving long enough till either help comes or you get back to where you need to go or you meet up with family. Like that's a lot of his stuff, but really good content. I love the military mindset. I really think that that's something a lot of people need to start ingesting. You need to start taking in that mindset and applying it because it will be a huge part of survival. Coal Cracker Bushcraft, again, kind of the same thing. A lot of that kind of military style, but here he is, duct tape and knives and how to do. He does a great job as well of like gadgets that really work out, what kind of things he puts in his kit, what kind of flashlights he uses, but he's still more on the bushcraft side. TA Outdoors does that too. They don't do guns like this guy does because they don't have guns in England that you're allowed to have, I think. His packs and his kits and his ideas are really good. This video right here, Supercharged Camp Hacks, really good video. His packs are good. How to do the knots. I mean, they all do this. It's just the ones that I've mentioned, a lot of them do this if they're like, you know, Joe or TA Outdoors or any of those guys. They do that kind of thing. But this guy covers a little bit more of the products he uses to survive, why, what the difference is, what does he do, how does he do. I recommend him. Um, Same thing. This guy actually hangs out with Joe Robinette. They do videos together. That's how I learned about him as well. He now is up to 300,000. I think I remember him when he first started with Joe. He had less than 100,000 when Joe mentioned him. Um, but he does a lot of the same stuff as Joe, but he's a bit more of a camper, where Joe is primarily moved into just kind of canoeing trips and camping trips like that. But this guy's a little bit more outside of that. He does a little bit more of the I can't explain it, but you'll check it out. He just goes. He's a little bit more broad in the content he creates than Joe. Joe's kind of found his niche. Survivor Man Lee Stroud. Obviously, this guy's very famous, and yet see how he's a television personality, and he only has less than 100, less than 1 million subscribers. He's a guy who actually goes out and he tries to survive on nothing. He had a TV show. I think it was probably on Discovery Channel or something like that. A lot of production here, but he knows what he's doing, and just another good guy to watch. He mentions stuff like what's poisonous to eat, why this will mess with you, just the way he puts things together. Also, just entertainment. It's just a genre. I'm not saying you can't learn from him. Him and David Canterbury are obviously real life experts who have been on TV. So you can learn a lot from him, but I do feel like he went the other way from Dave Canterbury. Dave Canterbury went like a school. I want actually people to learn. I want it to be about actual survival. And he was like, I want to create productions and highlight survival. So just another guy to watch. Corporal's Corner, another military ex guy who deals a lot with survival, bushcrafting, but with a lot of military type of gear, military surplus. See how he does more gear than the channels I've already shown so far. He's kind of showing more tarps. He's showing more like stuff like, what's the stuff you can buy at Walmart to do this with that's cheap. So he does very good on that. He has a lot of content as well. Definitely check him out with that military mindset. Mike G, I think he's an ex-Navy SEAL. You'll even see him, I think, sometimes do interviews with guys who are SEALs or combat folks in the military, Rangers and things like that. 72-hour disaster bag. So a lot of these guys have this because, like, in the military, that's what you do. You pack a bag for a certain amount of time to go a certain distance to accomplish a certain objective. That's very good information to know because you might need to go on little trips, or you might need to go scavenging for goods and supplies. And so having the knowledge that these guys have is important for everybody. Even if you're like, I'm not going to need that, you will. Scavenging could be a very big part of all of our reality in the future. And so learning from these military guys on how they do and why they do and what they use and what their mindset is a very important thing. So check out Mike G for that as well. Ranger Survival Fieldcraft. He's another military guy. Really heavy into the bushcraft, really heavy gear. Gear oriented. He talks about gear, kind of makeshift stuff, how each item can be used for multiple things. A lot of close-up videos where it's just his hands. You don't even see his face. He's talking and he's showing things that he's making and how to make them, how to use them. So it's really helpful content in that regard. Like, oh, here we go. Perfect example. Oh, you can't see it, can you? So his hands are just there, and he'll explain it to you and break it down for you and talk to you about the items. And so it's a good video for learning about the products and what products to use and why. Good content for that. Same thing. This guy's a little bit more like creative bushcrafting, but he's kind of the same version. You can see once again he's using different type of things that you can make in the wilderness. When you get out there, being creative and finding tools to make or little things you can make, like this is just if I highlight over it, it will play. But he's making right there, right above my arrow there, where the hands are holding that like little deal. That's just like, how do you make your own, how do you hollow out some branches or logs and create canisters or containers to hold your stuff in and keep them dry. Rope, how to make candles in the wilderness, right? Things that he uses that makes survival easier. It's it's kind of along the same thing. Again, they all just have different versions. But I recommend you watch it because you're going to learn from each one of these guys and gals with the different perspectives of their take on things and tools on things and how they do things and why. And it's just really good stuff to learn from different people to get that different mindset. Survival lore, really heavy driven on products and tools and items and things like that. Again, not a bad thing. They save you time. This guy does a great job. Actually, let me see it. Yeah, kind of kind of low production quality. Don't judge that. Uh, his stuff. He is so good at just kind of being like the everyday guy who's explaining to you, what tools are good, what things he uses, what ways to do things, and it's just real. Again, it doesn't have a lot of production feel to it, which in my opinion is a good thing because he's just kind of being a real guy in a real survival situation. It's not like TA Outdoors or Joe Robinette where it's all pretty and beautiful and it just seems like somehow they always find a tidy forest. Like this guy's actually in like the real forest that might feel overwhelming and dirty. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate survival lore and this channel and the stuff that they cover and how he talks about it. Fowler, this guy is great. He's from Alone. I love the TV show Alone. I've watched since the first season. I've kind of stopped watching the last few seasons just because the format of the show bothers me personally because it's more about people suffering and not so much about them like doing the bushcraft stuff. It's just about like them complaining about how much it sucks to be out there. And I get that. That's what most probably people who aren't bushcrafters want to watch is like, oh, look at how hard it is to survive, which that show also gives you the idea of like, I'm not going to make it when I go out, and survive in the wilderness. But, these guys are going out with 10 items or gals because there's men and women. Women have one before. They're going out with 10 items and they have to survive. And most of them, they can hit the call button and most of them quit because they miss their families. I should go on the show because I have no family to miss. But I don't think they would accept me because I don't have that professional background of being a survivalist. But they do a test. I mean, maybe you could do it. But I think I would crush it on this show because I'd literally just stay there till I died to make the money. You know what I mean? But because I miss my friends, that's not going to happen for me. So not that I don't love my friends, but I would be okay being away from people long enough to make 500,000 or $1 million. So he's great and he's funny. He is a blast. He's just out there. I feel like he goes like 100 miles an hour. Fun guy. And he does everything. He uses tools, uses stuff. He can totally survive with a toothpick and a fork, that kind of thing. But he's also out there, like you see, he's fishing. He's got gear. He's making funny videos. Like his stuff is just entertainment and it's educational. He's kind of quirky in all the right ways. I wish I had a better explanation of his stuff, but it's good content. You should definitely go and watch it. 1.8 million subscribers, and I think he's only been on for a few years. So he's skyrocketing up because his content is just great. So go check that out. The Outdoor Gear Review. I appreciate this gentleman so much. He is my favorite gear review guy. He does, in my opinion, the best gear reviews. He doesn't do, he just, I don't know how to describe it. He's just not overwhelming. He's just quite simple. He's like, this is what it is. Let's go use it. This is what's wrong. This is the problem with it. This is how it's going so far. He does a lot of stuff where he's just like in his backyard and he's setting it up. Oh, you can't see. Where he's just setting it up. Is it good? Is it bad? What's the problem with it? Does it leak? Does a lot of tents, does a lot of bag, does a lot of like the chairs. Like I love that he does these chairs, how well do they feel? Are they comfortable? He does gear set outs. Trying to see if there's some of the more that I've watched. He does look at this tent. Like that's a huge tent. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to be carrying that tent out in the wilderness to survive? Maybe not, but maybe so, right? Is like if you have 4 or 5 people in your family, are you going to have one big tent for everybody, or are you going to have everybody has their own tent? Well, it'd be better to have one tent for everybody because the body heat is going to be good like in the winters and things like that, right? So you might have a big tent like this and you might be thinking to yourself, well, which one do me and my family want to take out? He does a lot of reviews, and not just tents. He does the reviews on all sorts of stuff, and he just does such a great job on it. you feel like he's done the work on the gear, like the review, like he's really done the science and the practice and the use of it until he figures out if it's bad or good for you. This gentleman is great. Another one of the Brits. He's like an older version of Joe Robinette. Um, uh, he's got wisdom to him. So like his gear here, like this is one of my favorite videos that he has right here. It's called Survival Kit for Real World Weather. It's such a great video because he has things in there that like Joe and TA Outdoors don't even mention. They don't mention it because I don't. They're not in that survival mentality. They're in a let's go out for a weekend kind of mentality. Even if they're saying they're talking about survival, but I feel like they don't really cover some of the nitpicky stuff, which I will get into in later videos. In fact, I might even do a talk over on this video here. But he's just a great guy. He's totally like your grandpa. Like he's just your buddy, you know, again, a guy you could go have a beer with or a pint, they would say. Just very real, you know, and he covers stuff and he talks about the little way he preps things and sets things up and why does he like this lighter? Why does he wrap it with duct tape or why does he do that and this? And he just makes a lot of sense. Not, it doesn't feel again like TA Outdoors where the production is super high quality. So, into my opinion, that's a good thing. Even though I love TA Outdoors, I love Joe and all that kind of stuff, obviously. But this is just like a guy who's out there doing it, you know. And he's talking about this is the gear I use, and he's a Brit too. So you know, we're not just talking about Americans here. Uh, Outdoor Empire, a gear guy again. A lot of gear, great reviews. Covers some modern tech that you might want with you. If you do want to go camping or you do want to kind of do like a glamping, like that's glamorous camping survival, you know, it's not just an axe and a saw and flint and steel. You know, he has things that he's taking out that are nice items, making life a little bit more enjoyable while he's out. You know, this is a kind of prepping where if you had to go out to the wilderness, hopefully you have a car with you to load up stuff or a cart of some sort that you are pulling out with you. So you can use some of these high-tech items. Like this item here is amazing. Oh, if I'll go over it. But that little thing right there, that little stove right by my face here, this thing is amazing. I think it's something that everybody should have. Really good tool, but it takes kerosene, so it's not going to be, you know, sticks and stuff like that. But there's all sorts of type of gear that you can have for also staying at home, surviving at your house when the power is out. Just really good stuff. He does really good gear review as well. But he's different than the other gentleman. This is more like this is the type of gear, let's go and cover like multiple topics. The other gentleman I showed, who I said is like my favorite gear review guy, he's really good at doing like one item at a time and very thorough review about that one item. This guy can do multiple items, still thorough and good, but he's not doing a test like the other gentleman. So you put them together though, and you have a nice full understanding. Hidden Valley Bushcraft, again, a Brit, I believe he's a Brit. And I want to show this because I know there's going to be a lot of Europeans as well, not just Americans. And he covers how he does it and what it's like for him, his mentality. And I think it's important that I want to highlight not just the American mindset and the American bushcraft style and way of doing things. Love the little like micro gears that he carries with him, the camping gear. Again, he highlights products, he highlights ways of doing things, and why he uses it, why it worked, why it didn't work, why he felt it was good for this situation, not good for that situation. I just like the way he talks. I like the way he does things and sets things up and presents it and teaches. It's just good for me. Texas Gear Guy, really heavy gear now. We're moving towards the gear promoters, but I love this guy. His channel is about showing you gear, and I appreciate that because I hate buyer's remorse. I don't know about you, but I hate buyer's remorse. I hate buying a thing and then a week later I learn that there's something else way better out there and I spent way too much money, right? Like I hate it. So I love for the fact that these guys go out there, and I hope to do the same for you as well. There's things I'd like to buy and demonstrate for you, so you don't have to go out and buy them and find out if they are good or bad. Things that maybe these guys aren't highlighting or use it in a different mindset. Like this thing right here, this one, it says watched. That was the last video I just watched of his. It's about this kind of like parka thing that goes over him and why it's really good for actually staying warm in the weather. It's a wool a Norak. And he explains what a Norak is and why they're great. It's like an Eskimo kind of piece of clothing and just really awesome. Modern people have the idea that, you know, the Gore-Tex, the modern material, uh, the new technology kind of clothing, waterproofing is better than everything else. And they're not. They're not better than everybody else. They can be really great, but they're not necessarily better than the old ways. And so things like this, especially when you're out in the wilderness and you might need to get a new jacket or a new sweater or something like that, and you need to skin an animal or use their skins or furs to stay warm, you know, highlighting those type of things are important. They're important for survival. You should at least have that knowledge. And it also could save you a lot of money because, again, just because it's the new material and high tech and big name brand doesn't necessarily mean it's actually the best thing for survival. So these are the type of things I want to continue to highlight for you. More gear, everyday tactical videos, great gear videos again. Flashlights, little bags. I mean, these little bags. I have more bags than I can count, you guys. Backpacks. I have tons of backpacks. I'm always buying backpacks. I'm always re-gearing my backpacks and always figuring out what do I actually want to take, what will actually be useful. And I want to say this now for a lot of people who are going to be new to survival. You're always going to be changing. You're always going to be realizing what works for you, what doesn't work for you. It's always going to be morphing. So you shouldn't have horrible buyer's regret with this particular genre of shopping because a lot of it is knowledge and experience, and as you become more experienced you can actually use a different tool, and as you become more experienced you can also use one tool to accomplish what you needed to do with multiple tools. And so you will realize as your experience and as you use these things and play around with these things that you will change, and thus your gear will change, and that's good. It's not a bad thing. So be open to that change and understand that there's no reason to, you know, get discouraged early on by the fact that you keep buying stuff and then you're not using it or you feel like you're never going to use it. You know, there might be some things that you might circle back to as well, and you can always, you know, sell it back to a shop or something like that if you really don't want it or don't like it. But I keep most of my stuff. I keep it because, you know, then now I have at least a backup knife. And if it's the thing I've had the longest, I know how to use it really well, right? So it may not be the first thing I'm going to put, may not be my first option I'm going to grab for survival if I run out the door. But if I'm home and my other option breaks, it's going to be a thing I'm super glad I have. So again, this genre isn't, I feel like buyer's remorse with survival gear like this. I hope you guys can't hear that. There's a guy mowing or weed whacking right now. But yeah, I feel like this is not a genre that you should get buyer's remorse on. You should be just understanding that it's going to change and it's going to fluctuate. And there's always new stuff coming out too. But really good channel for the gears, kits, items, modern items, things you might want to take with you, and why. So really good. Kit Bash Survival. The name says it all. This guy's kits are amazing. He does reviews of like pre-packaged kits that come like pre-made, and his reviews are awesome. Like the best kit reviewer I've ever seen. And kits are really good to have reviewed because you may not want to buy that kit, but you'll get ideas what you see in a kit that you might want to add to your kit. Or you might see a kit that has everything you want, and a lot of these kits you get a lot of bang for your buck. Some people will say that buying a kit is dumb because you're actually spending more money, but I've seen some kits where I think you're saving money because they either are buying everything in bulk and they're throwing it in there. But I'm like, I've seen some kits where you're like, man, that's a really good deal. Yeah, you're spending $300-400, but if you were to piecemeal go out and buy each one of those things individually, you'd be spending more than that, you know? So his kit review is amazing. And he also, I think, builds his own kits, but he has like a lot of stuff. But his kits, like I would probably, instead of doing like, I'll show you my kits at some point, but if I was going to show you a kit review, I'll probably show you one of his reviews and then tell you what I would do differently and why for long-term prepping, right? So, or you know, into the world kit design. The urban preppers. Now we're moving into the city folks. People are like, well, I'm not going to be out in the wilderness. What do I do? come to channels like this, the Urban Prepper. He covers a lot of stuff of like living in the city. What are you going to want to get out, to run away? What kind of technology? Like you see, he has a solar deal right there. So, oh, you can't see it. The solar deal right there above my head or by my head. All sorts of different kind of home modern technology, things that will help you. GPS ghost phone. Some of you heard me talk about that in the past on my other channels, about how, you know, there's tech out there that's being designed so that you guys can stay in communication without cell phone towers, so the government can't track you. You can have the entire internet downloaded on your phone or tablet, so that if when the internet goes out and you don't have access to it anymore, you still have like all of the world's knowledge, at least on your phone with you. How that works, I have no idea, but it's real. And so, you know, he'll cover some of that stuff. I'm going to highlight some other folks. A lot of little kits, travel kits, things to take with you, have with you if you're in the city, and what you should have and why. So definitely, he's a prepper. I think that's the first one with the word prepper in the channel. Epic Gardening. Heading back a little bit backwards here, but I love this gentleman. And again, if you are doing urban, the reason why I put him at this point is because he would be a good person to watch if you want to have a garden and you're living in the city. If you're living in some type of suburban area, he is really good with the suburban gardening. He interviews a lot of people, highlights a lot of other farmers and techniques. He goes to their place and he shows you what they're doing, and he shows you different techniques as well. His garden is cool and clean, very well maintained, very well done. He grows a lot of stuff. He's very successful with his growing seasons, or growing results and things like that. I definitely recommend him. 4 million views. I remember when he started off with very little. Very good channel, really knowledgeable. And the fact that he's interviewing people and getting you outside information as well, like outside of his own experience, is super helpful. So I definitely check him out. Sensible Prepper. This guy is more like, how do you make things? How do you survive? How do you kind of scavenging? If you were scavenging, you'd really like this guy's channel, because he's going to show you how to turn things. Like, he's got this bottle with a rope in it, and like, okay, so I can use this rope. I can use this bottle to keep my rope dry. It's like, is that really important? Not really, but he has a lot of stuff where he has gear and ideas of gear and how to use different gear and how to stock different gear for like actual prepping, like for getting out of town, staying in your house, going out to the woods from your house. Like, it's more of like a prepper survivalist channel, and gear coverage as well, like a lot of gear. So Sensible Prepper, the name says it all, I suppose. I guess I didn't need to plug it too hard, but Sensible Prepper, he's trying to be sensible. He's trying to be like, hey, this is something that you can do. This is something you should have, and why. And these are the things you don't want to miss out on. That's kind of like how I would say the vibe of his is. Dirty Civilian. These guys are great. It's not just one guy. It's a group of guys, or a few guys, and they do a lot of interviews. They do a lot of talk about surviving. They reenact survival times and situations, and they kind of play like they're kind of like make like skits of what will it look like. So they also just, they talk gear, modern gear, guns, things like that. So a good channel to go to for learning and just opening up your mindset to a different approach to gear and guns and surviving and things like that, and what will happen when poop hits the fan. Civil Defense. This guy is one of the guys I had mentioned before. He builds tech and shows tech on how to be prepared for when your government becomes evil and it's spying on you and it's hurting you, or how to defend against drones. Like, if the government or the evil people have drones and they're coming after you, how would you defend against it, right? That's a part of prepping. So he does a lot of the tech stuff, and he covers a lot of the tech stuff like that you might want to have. And yeah, his channel explains itself, but he's more techie. He's more on how to prepare technologically and with gear and gadgets and things like that. So definitely check him out, because I think everybody should have that in our modern world. This guy's another product reviewer. He's my second favorite product reviewer, but he's different than the other gentleman I showed you, because the other gentleman, like I said, he'll do like one product and just kind of, he'll use it and show you him using it, and then he'll talk about his experience and he'll talk about the stats of it, right? This gentleman is like a scientist. He will break it down. He'll tell you what it does, why it does, how much, like for instance, the battery packs or the generators, how long do they last? How long is the charge time? How long does it drain? Does it really have the battery pack it says, or is it like as advertising false? You know, which one handles the most output and input? And you know, when I used it, what's the weight? You know, what's the price tag? Things like that. And he gives you a chart at the end, and he'll show you like, this is the one that won overall best. This is the one that won if you have a bunch of money. This is the one that won if you have no money. And just it really helps with that buyer's remorse, so you don't have it, and really helps with the what we've already talked on this channel a lot about, which is analysis paralysis. You know, there's so much information out there on every type of topic or product that you're going to buy. I mean, flashlights, right? Like he has this thing with flashlights. Look at this. So it's like, which flashlight is the best? Like some people get analysis paralysis on what flashlight they should be buying, or they just go to the store and buy a flashlight because it's sitting on the shelf, and in reality that was a horrible flashlight to buy. You know, so they don't. There's no research. It's just the one that was on the shelf when they walked into the store. And so him doing these type of reviews, and they're very like gloves. Yes, please do a thing on gloves. Like, thank you. Right? Which glove? Because I mean, I have so many gloves. Now, me, gloves, even if he does a review, I'm still going to go out and continue to buy a bunch of gloves. Just like bags. Like how a lot of people are with their little, their drinks, right? Everybody, modern day people seem to have this thing with different containers to carry their water in or their drinks in all day, right? I'm totally blanking on the word there. I have no idea why. Having a senior moment, I guess. But there's certain things that I'm going to continue to buy until I find the one that's right for me. And I have a bunch of gloves, so many gloves and bags and things like that, because I just want to know which one is the one I like the best. And I actually think I'll do a review on the one I think is the best. I have a couple different varieties. You use different ones for different things, but yeah. So do you see, like he's just got so much stuff. He covers so many things. Nozzles for your hose. This may not be a survival thing, but there might be something on there that he reviewed that would be really good for survival, or something else you need until you need to survival. Or to survive. So Project Farm, really, really the best multiple product comparison review channel I found. City prepping. This guy is he's like I can't explain. He's kind of like the CEO dad, right? Like you feel like this guy is a CEO of like a mid-grade, mid-level company. He's smart, he's knowledgeable, he's confident. He's confident in his knowledge. He talks about prepping for the city and the things that he thinks you should have and why, things that can happen, things that you should prepare and stock up on, a lot of that type of gear and things like that. Good knowledge to have, especially when it comes to his food list. My food list is going to be a bit different, but his food list is good, I think, for families. I'm not married. I have no kids, so my food list might be a bit different. But like his type of gear reviews and things like that are really good. And especially if you're going to be in suburbia, you're going to be in the city, I definitely recommend City Prepping. This guy has a lot of knowledge, and he does a lot of reviews, and he thinks thoroughly. And so you may not agree with everything he says, or you may agree with everything he says. I don't know. You can if you want. I mean, you can do whatever you want. But I do think he's got a great channel. Otherwise, I wouldn't be highlighting it. And I think he does great work. So check him out. This guy is this is my number 4. I said, I knew there was I was like, this is number 5. I was like, there's a number 4 of content I watch the most on the internet. This is the 4th watched YouTube channel I watch. This guy is so smart and he's so knowledgeable about solar and batteries and things like that. It's unbelievable how he wrote a book about it. And he was living in like his RV or a van when he wrote the book. It's one of the best sellers on Amazon. His name is Will. He is, if you want to learn about batteries and solar, he's the first place I'm going to tell you to go to. There's another place. It's a very close number 2. It's the next one on this list. But Will is amazing. And he's easy to watch. Like he's so good at describing it. He's so enthusiastic. He's so passionate about it too. It's like he was like literally born for this YouTube channel. Like to me, God literally created this guy to do this YouTube channel. And I feel like he has educated more people on do-it-yourself solar and battery packs and batteries and things like that than probably anybody. I just feel that way. It may not be true at all, but I just feel like he's that guy. So go check out Will if you want to build your own solar, or you want to know how to save money in solar, you want to know what product is good. He will literally cut open the batteries. He will literally use the solar. He puts solar panels all over his yard. Like, he's got solar panels at any given time all over his yard. He's got different battery packs running to each one. He has like, his neighbors must think he's a loon, but he's constantly running tests, and he's giving you real data, and you can tell he is so nerdy. Again, good looking kid like Alfie, right? He's got like a cool demeanor, but he's such a nerd in all the right ways, so knowledgeable. And just, if you want to learn solar and know that you're not getting ripped off and know that you're buying the best thing that you can get at this time, Will is the guy. He's the guy. And the next guys you're going to want to watch as like a confirmation. But Will is the guy who I highly recommend for solar, and learning, understanding it. And I want to highlight, this is the most buyer's remorse category I can think of, except for maybe like buying a Tesla or something. Because I feel like as soon as you buy a Tesla, Tesla changes the next one or upgrades the next one and then drops the price. And now your resale value of your Tesla is less than what the new one is that's better than yours. So like now you have to be lower than that even. So you can have horrible buyer's remorse buying a Tesla, I think. But when you buy solar, you can have really bad buyer's remorse, because the technology is improving so quickly, and new things are coming out and new companies are coming out. So you can get buyer's remorse really quick with solar. And so I want to address this now in this video. That's just solar. It's not you. It's not your choice that you made on that day. It's just the industry is growing and changing so fast. I mean, this guy has been perpetually making videos like every week for like years, right? Years. He's just been constantly promoting and producing new content and testing new stuff. And so whatever you buy today in solar, just know it's good. You know, it's going to be great. In a year from now, it might seem like it sucks. but having that and not having it, that's really why you make the purchase, right? So when you're financially ready, or you're ready to make that purchase and learn, because here's the thing, you want to buy it enough time so that you have it. If everything goes to crap, you already have your solar set up, you already know how to use it, you already have the wrinkles ironed out in how you want to use it and how you want to have it set up, right? So you want to have it. You want to have solar. In my opinion, if you're going to be a prepper, you want to have solar, whether it's a mobile unit or whether you're going to stay home on your homestead, or you're going to hunker in and just stay where you are and defend your place, but you're going to want to have energy. You know, it makes life a lot better, right? So don't get buyer's remorse is what I'm saying. And just know, you know, if you can add a new item that can upgrade your whole situation, great. You know, if you want to upgrade the panels later and you can get more juice in shorter, you know, a smaller package, great. You know, you can always switch those things out. But by watching Will's channel and this next channel I'm going to show you, you may feel like it's never a good time to buy solar. You may always be thinking, well, I'll just wait because maybe, you know, I'm waiting for solar to kind of reach a plateau. Nah. The batteries specifically, and the packaging and the way that things communicate with one another, it's always being upgraded. So and that's a good thing, but also, you know, just don't get that buyer's remorse. Be happy that you have something, and maybe in 10 years, 15 years, if the world hasn't ended yet and you have money to get a new system and sell your old one, or give your old system away to a family member, a friend, or something like that, then cool, do that. These are not usually very cheap either. It's usually thousands and thousands of dollars, but you know, that's the reality of it. Just be prepared. This next channel, the Solar Lab, I love these guys. Will is my go-to guy I watch, but I love these guys because they're like the guy next door, the kid next door. Will is like a phenomenon. These guys are like the guys, again, you probably want to go and have a beer with. Just really your modern day. Are they Gen Zers, millennials? I don't know, but they're just they test product, they test solar, they tell you what's poo poo, they tell you what companies are not cool and not being good with their warranties, they're not answering the phone. Again, like Will, they just always got something being tested. They're always running something and doing it and using it and upgrade into the next one so that you don't have to go and buy it. They'll tell you exactly which one they think is best in whatever category. And they do such a great job. They use stats, they use charts. They'll do, this one's best at this price. So between Will and these guys, you'll be very good at knowing what item to buy. If my memory is correct, the next guy on the list will actually be good at helping you set it up. Yep. Minuteman Solar. So this guy actually sets it up. He does the setups and he goes in and he explains why he sets it up and what it does and like he's showing here like the panels, the solar panels behind him, the rig on the wall behind him. So he'll set it up and he'll show you like it working. How does it work? Does it really work? Is he happy with it? So if you take Will and then you go to the other guys, the review guys, the solar lab, and then you go to this guy who's out like at his house or out in the field using it, you put all these in, you'll have a very good, between these three guys, you have a very good solar experience of what's what. And then this guy, he may be like, what's this guy doing on a prepared channel? I know this guy, the undecided guy, Matt, right? The reason why I think a guy like this and the channels out there like this are good is because they tell you about things that are coming before they come or before they're famous. And so being aware of this also lets you know how close we are to disaster or how soon you might have that thing you've been hoping would be created for your prep. You're like, man, if we just had this tool or this device or this thing that would do this for us, boy, that would sure make life off grid a lot better or easier, or it allow me to do more or accomplish more at a less price, things like that. So I watch this gentleman, I keep up to date with him and a few other channels like him, but I really appreciate just his candor, like the way he presents it and the way he's so scientific about it. And he will tell you, this is worrisome to me or this is exciting to me. He's not emotional. He's not a salesman. He's kind of just, again, a scientific, nerdy guy who's really into the next thing that's coming out. And you should be too. If you think that the earth is going to poop, drop out from the sky and fall all in one day or something like that, you should be knowing what's going on with the world and why is it doing that? Why do these things work? What new batteries are coming out? Should you wait 6 months? He'll tell you. He'll most likely cover the batteries that will be coming out that will totally revolutionize batteries, So by going to a channel like this, it gives me that foreknowledge of what's coming so that I can also prepare for those things or adjust my list of preps to include those things. So maybe I won't buy this or that right now. Instead, I'm going to wait 6 months. It's a risk. Anytime you wait to buy something, technically it's a risk because the poop could hit the fan tomorrow, right? And then you don't have. But those are the type of choices you just have to make, weigh your pros and cons. And, this type of content, not just him, but other channels like this, really, I feel, allow you to make those without getting sideswiped and finding out in 6 months later that something came out that just, again, buyer's remorse, right? Or planner's remorse. It can totally give you, I should have planned for this differently had I known that the future was going to look like this, or this new genre was going to come out with this new type of technology. So keep up to date with these type of channels as well, and just, make it part of your form of entertainment. Maybe instead of watching a Netflix show or Amazon Prime or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I love me a good Ted Lasso episode or Yellowstone. Those are my favorites. But content like this should also replace some of that type of entertainment because you're being educated and it's entertaining at the same time. That's just my opinion. So this is my first list of people that I wanted to highlight for you guys and just kind of promote them. Again, not all of them fall into the prepper category at all, or even survivalist category at all. Some of them are not there whatsoever, but the knowledge they have, the things they can teach you, can be extremely valuable in the prepper and survival situations. So again, my name's Nathan Wheeler. This is Elevated Prep. My hope is that together with you and the entire community of the people that are out there who have already done really great work, we can elevate the entire community, from the people who are just looking to break into it today, get into prepping, or the people who have been experts at it and been doing it for years. I hope this list has enriched and opened up your awareness and mind, and I hope that you enjoy their content. If you do decide to stop by any of their channels, let them know that Elevated Prep sent them, and that Elevated Prep is there to promote and encourage their work and anybody else like them, so that we can all be more prepared. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.